Hey, you guys, what is up? Welcome. My name is Dee, the Crochet Lady, and today I'm going to share with you how to do the Spiral Tawashi with a Tunisian crochet hook. This is a super fun and easy beginner-friendly project. All you're going to need today is a little tiny stitch marker, and you will need a needle for sewing in and weaving in your ends once we close our item up. And of course, some yarn. I chose just a variety of different brands of cotton yarns, but you can use whatever you would like. And you don't need any specific number. You can chain whatever you would like. I'm going to use a 21 count chain for my tutorial, but you can use whatever you want. And just make sure that you at least crochet however many rows as you have chain. And I usually will crochet a few extra rows. So if I have 21 chains, I'm going to crochet like 24 or 26 rows, or at least one more row usually, just to give it a little bit of more area. So if you're ready to get started, go ahead and chain whatever you would like, and I will see you in just 1 second. All right, so we have all of our loops on our hook, and we're going to yarn over and pull through the first 3 loops there, just like that. And then we're going to continue to yarn over and pull through 2 loops. And we're going to pull through 2 loops all the way back to the beginning of the row, where we will start with row 1. All right, so we're back to the beginning and we're ready to make our right side increase. We're going to make a right side increase on every row until we're done making our project the length that we want. So let's go ahead and make the right side increase. To do that, you're going to insert your hook into that little loop there, yarn over and pull up a loop. And for the first row, we're going to do Tunisian purl stitch. And we're going to make Tunisian purl stitch all the way across. And then once you get right here, go ahead and stop, and I'll meet you right down here at the last 3, which is our 2 unworked stitches and our end loop. Okay, so we're back down to our last 3 loops there, which is our 2 unworked stitches and our end loops. And so we're going to work the next stitch, which is going to be the same Tunisian purl stitch. So we have 1 unworked stitch and our end loops. So we're going to insert our hook underneath that unworked stitch and underneath both end loops, yarn over and pull through all 3, just like that. Next, we're going to yarn over and pull through 2 loops. And we're going to do this all the way back to the beginning of the row here. But before I continue, I like to mark my end loops that I'm going to be crocheting back into. All right, so let's continue. Yarn over and pull through 2. Back to the beginning of the row. And this is where we're going to change colors. So on the last 2 loops, bring in your next color. All right, and I've got my next color, so I'm just going to yarn over and bring that through the last 2 loops. And then we're going to make our right side increase. And now we are going to make Tunisian simple stitch. So we've made our increase, and it's Tunisian simple stitch throughout the rest of the stitches, all the way down. And then I'll meet you right over here where we'll go through the decrease one more time. Okay, so we're back down to the last unworked loop of our unworked stitch of the previous row, and then our end loops. And we're going to insert our hook underneath that last unworked stitch, your end loops there, yarn over and pull through all 3. And then yarn over, pull through 2, and mark your end loops if you need to. If you don't need to, that's fine. I'm doing it for the purpose of this video, but in reality I don't. Sometimes I'll go like several rows and the stitch marker's still like, you know, way down there. Just as long as you know where to insert your hook. And then we're going to continue yarning over and pulling through 2 loops back to the beginning of the row where we're going to make our increase. All right, so I've made my right side increase and we just got through making Tunisian simple stitch. So now we're back to Tunisian purl stitch. So it goes Tunisian simple, Tunisian purl, simple, purl, and you just keep alternating in order to create the ridge effect. And we're going to decrease our row just the same as we have before. So you're going to increase on the right hand side and then decrease on the left side. And let's see what that looks like in just a few minutes. So the way to work this pattern is you're going to have each little section is going to have 2 rows of each color. So after you've done 2 rows right here, so you can see when I come back on my return row, then I'm going to incorporate my next color, which for me is going to be purple. But you can just go with 2 colors or, you know, have as many colors as you would like to add. All right, so this is what your item should look like. And from here, what we're going to do is go ahead and snip off your main yarn, whatever color you're going to finish with. So at this point, we're going to bind off. Just going to drag those down there. So in order to bind off, I'm going to use white because white was the first color that I used. So when I sew it together, it'll match up much more nicely. So let's go ahead and chain 1. And I'm just going to bind off with Tunisian simple stitch. And I'm going to incorporate the front horizontal loop just like that, just for a sturdier seam. And then just go ahead and bind off all the way down to your last set of end loops right here. Our edge is nice and finished now. And from here, what you're going to do is fold your item over like this. So that tip meets the corner right here. And then you're going to fold your item like that. Now this is, you want the inside to be together like that. Or I'm sorry, the outside to be like facing each other. So just like this. And then you're just going to either whip stitch or slip stitch, matching up your end loops from each side. And then once you do that, you're going to thread your needle with some more yarn, or you can take one of these long tails and weave it in and out of the top. So let's go ahead and make our seam right here. You'll notice that at one end of your seam, you have like not quite enough stitches, and that's because we did a decrease. So just use a couple of these loops on this side to match with that side. And you'll see what I mean once you get down all the way to the end of your seam here. And as you can see, it lines up pretty neatly. So our next thing we're going to do is to close this end up. And what we're going to do to do that is you can either use what yarn is already in your needle and weave it. I'm going to use mine just since it's already attached. But what you're going to do is weave your yarn back and forth just like this in between your horizontal loops on the top here. and go all the way around. And then once you've got it all the way around, then we're going to pull it shut. Once your item is pulled, go ahead and weave your needle in and out these little stitches right around here a couple different times to secure your knot right here. So we have one more side to close up. Go ahead and take your needle and thread and weave back and forth just like we did on the other side there. And here we are. Oh my gosh, don't you love these? These are super cute and so fun and easy to make. If you guys have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. As always, I love hanging out with you guys. Thanks so much for tuning in today. And until next time, happy crochet and peace out.